Hello everyone, and I'm very glad to welcome you on this first lesson about market structure. In today's lesson, we will start to observe the market, and instead of talking a lot about theory or stuff like that, we will just discuss the very basics and then go to the market, to the chart, and actually see how it moves. So we will be like some kind of scientists trying to understand what's in front of us. Okay, so if you have been in the markets for some time, you are probably familiar with the definitions of a trend, and you probably know that when the market is trending, it creates higher highs and higher lows, or when the market reverses, it can start creating lower highs and lower lows. Okay, and this basic observation allows us to see some kind of pattern. Okay, and just for the future, for any lessons, if you don't understand anything or something, or when you hear an unfamiliar word, then you can just ignore, try to understand what I'm talking about, and be sure that I will explain in detail some words later and what they exactly mean. Okay, so maybe if I'm telling break structure or protected high, protected low, we will discuss it all further. Now it's the very basics. So again, when the market is doing something like this, it creates consecutive points that are higher or lower. So in this case, it's higher highs and higher lows, and in this case, it's lower highs and lower lows. And what can we observe on this very basic schematic is that when the market creates a break of structure and it creates this bearish leg, overall, we see that the market tends to hold the structure. And so when it moves like this, when it creates some kind of pattern like this, we can say, okay, now then in this area, so let's move here. So we have a break of structure of some kind, and we have a new bearish leg. And now somewhere in this area, based on our basic observations, we can say that the market can reverse. Okay, we don't know if it will happen, but overall we can expect something like this. So what it gives us is that the market is not a chaotic is not of a chaotic nature. Yeah, it tends to create some kind of structure that tends to hold. Of course, this is very theory based schematic, and in real life, most likely, I mean not most likely, for 100%, we will instead see structure developing in patterns like this. So the market will never move like perfectly smooth. Yeah, instead it will create a lots of additional points, but even with that, it will remain overall bearish or bullish. So overall moving up or so overall moving down or overall moving up. So this is actually how the real market can look. But even on this schematic, we already, if we want, we can start to notice that it seems like market moved up and then down and then up and then down, up and down. Yeah, for instance, someone can say like this. Or if your eyes train differently, you can split those moves in more moves. And by the way, in the future lessons, we will do exactly this. We will learn how to split one big move into many structural moves and then trade based on this. But for now, let's go to our chart. Let's go to our chart and see how the market moves. We will start to see some kind of patterns immediately. Again, based on how you perceive the structure, you could, if I ask you how the market moved in this area, you could say, okay, we had this huge move, then this huge move, and then just moved down, and you will be right. But then a different person can come in and say something like this. He could say, okay, but I think that the market moved down, up, down, up, like this, and he will have more ranges. So a range is this move. I'm calling it a range. We can call it an impulse or just a move. Okay. So instead of being too general about the moves, we can say that the market moved like this. Okay. And then even someone else can come to our company and say, okay, but I actually see a lot of moves. So lots of moves like this. Okay. So I see these moves. And every person will be correct. I'm not saying now that it will be comfortable to trade with the approach when you have huge moves, but it's still possible. However, later we will learn how to separate the moves. So when we see something like this, we already can start again to see some kind of a pattern. And or you can even use circles, for this pattern. So you can use circles to see what happens, and you can just use your eyes to mark up the points that just your eyes see. Okay. So, and then if we just switch the candles themselves, we can see this is the real structure. Okay, this is the real structure of the market. Yeah, it moves like some kind of crazy doodle, but let's see more closely. So for instance, here we had this big move, and now we have inside moves of this structure. Okay, again and again we had this big move, and now we can expect it to hold, and it really holds. So instead of just doing something like this, the market stayed inside of this bigger push. It stayed inside and created a new lower high, and then eventually broke its previous price expansion and just created a new bearish leg. Okay, so for this lesson, I guess that's it. And as you know, you will have a series of homework, and it's very important to do them, to do the homework actually. And some homework you will send me for review, and some homework you will do just for yourselves. So for this task, you take any kind of a market and try to see the moves just using your eyes, and it will be like really subjective now. Okay, we don't need to have any kind of rules. Just take and try to see when the market moved up and when it moved down, and then trace the price with your arrow instrument or with your brush instrument. Okay, and then just trace how you see the structure, and then switch the price off and try on this schematic, or if you want you can leave it on and try to see how the market held the structure. So for instance, we had a move up which eventually failed, you see. So when we have a move up, we want the market to hold it, but it will do what it wants. We just observe. Instead, the market created a move down, and it seems like it had some kind of a pullback and then a new move down. Again, it had some kind of a pullback and a new move down. Again, the structure held. So we want the market to reverse somewhere inside of this. And for this, you just use your eyes and your own subjective thoughts on how the structure looks for you. And in the later we will discuss actual rules how to do it. Okay, but for now just do how you want it. And again, you see the market is holding structure. So, and then do it, play with it, and just but really take your brush and follow the structure, see how the market moves.